What is your favorite type of viewfinder? In this video, I'm gonna share what is my favorite type of viewfinder and why. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer and a Lumix ambassador. And in this video, I want to talk about the viewfinder, which I think is, well, maybe not the most important part of any camera, but it certainly is an essential part of any camera. Because the viewfinder allows you to see what you are shooting. It allows you to see your subject, your composition, and your framing. And on some cameras, certain type of viewfinder allows you to see very precisely what you're going to get, what your end result is going to be. And you certainly can take pictures without a viewfinder, but you can't pre-visualize or plan your picture the way you can if you have a viewfinder. If you don't have a viewfinder, you'll be essentially shooting blindly, and it's pretty much hit and miss what you're going to get. So the viewfinder allows you to see what you're going to get. It allows you to compose and frame your shot. And there are basically two types of viewfinders: optical viewfinders and electronic viewfinders. And in this video, when I'm talking about electronic viewfinders, I also mean the back screen on your camera and the screen on your phone. Because essentially those are also viewfinders, because they allow you to compose and frame your shot. But before I go any further, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done that already, and tap the bell there so you'll get a notification every time I post new content. And towards the end of this video, I'm going to share what is my favorite type of viewfinder, and I would also like to hear what is your favorite type of viewfinder and why. But let's first talk a bit about the viewfinders in general, and I'd like to start with the optical viewfinder. And there are basically two types of optical viewfinders. One is almost like a window that you look through and that allows you to see approximately what you're going to get. And the other type is so-called DSLR mirror viewfinder, whatever the official name is. But in that type of viewfinder, you look through the lens and see what the lens is projecting on the film or on the sensor. On many cheap film cameras, the viewfinder is literally just a simple window that you look through, and you will not get a very precise framing, and you will only get the very limited amount of info on the end result in general. But on some cameras, more expensive cameras, the window type of viewfinder is very refined. For example, on Leica M-series cameras, the viewfinder is actually quite good, and you can even frame quite precisely through the viewfinder. And also on Leica M-series, for example, the viewfinder is also so-called a rangefinder viewfinder that allows you also to focus through the viewfinder. And on some Fuji digital cameras, that window type of viewfinder has some digital elements also in there, so it gives you a lot of information too. But even the best viewfinders of that type can never give you the exact framing, or you can't evaluate the depth of field, for example, because you are not looking through the lens. You are just looking through a small window next to the lens. But the SLR type of viewfinder, or if we are talking about digital cameras, it's a DSLR type of viewfinder, allows you to see through the lens. The lens coming through the lens into the camera is reflected with a mirror through a prism into the viewfinder, and you can see exactly the same picture that the lens is projecting on the film or on the sensor. But you can't see how the final picture is going to look even on a digital SLR or DSLR, because you just see the picture or the light that is coming through the lens. But still, the through the lens type of optical viewfinder is in many ways superior to the other type of optical viewfinder I was talking about earlier. And for some photography like macro, it's pretty much essential to see through the lens. And then there is the electronic viewfinder, which in my opinion is far, far superior to any other types of viewfinders, because it allows you to preview exactly how your picture is going to look. Some argue that an optical viewfinder is better because it offers more lifelike viewfinder picture. But I think it's far more important to see how your final picture is going to look, and that you can only see with an electronic viewfinder. And there are basically two types of electronic viewfinders. The first type is the more traditional one that is inside of your camera, and to be able to use that you will have to lift the camera up to your eye. And the other is, of course, the back screen of your camera or the screen on your phone. They both offer the same information and the similar or the same preview of the picture that you're going to take. However, the user experience can be very different between those two viewfinders. And I think I slightly prefer the traditional viewfinder inside of the camera, because when I lift the camera up to my eye, I'm sort of isolated from my surroundings, and I can better concentrate on what's going on in the viewfinder. And also because the viewfinder is surrounded by just black, it's just easier to see what is going on in there. But of course, the back screen of my camera allows me to shoot from some awkward, obscure angles, and it also allows sometimes a candid type of photography. And they both have their upsides and downsides. But I think my absolute favorite is still the traditional electronic viewfinder inside of the camera. And in general, electronic viewfinder is, in my opinion, like I already said, far superior to any kind of optical viewfinder, because the electronic viewfinder allows me to see exactly how my picture is going to look when I press the shutter. So there you have it. That is my favorite type of viewfinder. And now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite type of viewfinder and why. Would you rather have optical or electronic viewfinder? Would you rather use the back screen of your camera, or would you rather use the more traditional viewfinder inside of your camera? Thank you so much, and I'll see you again in the next video.